Welcome to Nostalgic Point of View, where your point of view,
Here's our nostalgia.
and welcome to this episode of Nostalgic Point of View, where, as you can see, we are watching The Lion King.
Yes.
This one here, it's nostalgic. It's always so good, especially James Earl Jones.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yes. And I have a connection to this one, especially with Timon and Pumbaa and everybody. It's nostalgic, but not as nostalgic as Toy Story or some other films and whatever. But still good.
I remember this movie emotionally ruined me.
Oh, it didn't. When I was a kid, I'm like, he died.
Yeah. For me, it was the first movie that actually showed me a live death in a cartoon.
Yeah.
I didn't see any beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. But we didn't have very many props, but we got two Simbas here.
Yeah.
It'll
be like that for a lot of videos. We'll have a lot of props like we did with Toy Story, or we might have little props like we do with Lion King.
All of this is because of me, because I have all this stuff. I had too many Buzzes and way too many Woodies. But you know, collector's things. They're great.
And this may or may not be my son's.
All of this is your son's.
Shush.
He don't collect things.
We'll try with these videos, we're trying our best to represent the movie with the table.
Yeah.
Some things will be more, less, but we're trying our best. Unfortunately, we're not made of money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have another job.
That's why you should subscribe to our Patreon.
We'd like this to be our full job.
And then that is up to you. We need your help.
Yes, do that. We'll get more stuff for the table. We can actually make this a full-time
So
job.
please, subscribe to the Patreon. Anyways,
Sure help.
any quick notes before we get started?
Nothing too much. This came out in 1994.
1994. Whoa.
On June 24th.
So, before Toy Story. So this is our first film that's before Toy Story, because this is animated. This isn't CG.
Yeah.
So this is our first hand-drawn animated movie that we're doing.
And this is just Disney.
Yes, Disney,
It's
not
Disney,
Pixar. So, and then anything, and no other notes? Oh, the Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 92%, which
92.
unfortunately is less than Toy Story, but still pretty high.
I mean, Toy Story can't be. It's a masterpiece. But like 92, it's better than a lot of films. I'd say even if anything, it probably get a little bit more. You got a lot of heart and soul in this movie compared to Toy Story. Like, there's no stakes when it comes to Toy Story, right? There's a little bit of stakes, but they're toys, right?
Yeah, this one, it
deals with
lives.
It deals with life and death.
Yeah. Plus, this one has some bangers for songs. I mean, Toy Story didn't have any songs, but still.
Well, Toy Story's got "You Got a Friend in Me" in the first one.
Yeah.
And then the rendition done by Wheezy.
And the second one at the end.
I find it funny. Watch our Toy Story video. Toy Story 2, we just did it. But I forgot to mention something. Why is Wheezy called Wheezy if he was not Wheezy before his squeaker broke?
Should have been called Squeaky.
He should have been Squeaky, unless his name changed, so he became Squeaky to Wheezy. Then back to Squeaky again? I don't know.
But then Woody wouldn't know his name was Squeezy.
Wheezy?
Because he didn't know about his thing broke.
No, but he would have, because it was Andy that broke him, and Andy's had Woody.
Right.
Yeah. So, either way, that's not this video.
We're talking about cats.
I think it's about time to get into the film.
Yep.
Let's go.
I can't remember what the original title was.
That's just blue with the castle.
Right.
Life's not fair.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?
What do you want? Now look, Zazu, you made me lose my lunch.
Ha! You'll lose more than that when the king gets through with you. Don't look at me that way. Help!
Scar. Drop him.
Why, if it isn't my big brother descending from on high to mingle with the common.
That story is changing.
That hairball is my son and your future king.
Oh, I shall practice my curtsy. I'm afraid I'm at the shallow end of the dream pool.
There's one in every family, sire. Two in mine. And they always manage to ruin special occasions. Whenever he gets dirty, you can take him out and beat him.
Oh, that's a big tree.
Very big, thick tree too.
Built a lot of houses out of that.
Maybe just one. But still. One house, one tree.
Simba.
Son, awake.
Before sunrise, he's your son.
My kids always gotta be up before sunrise.
Because they're there to be a pain.
Let your father sleep.
They got the sunlight right. Some movies get it wrong by going from the bottom first for the sunrise, but it actually is from the top.
Yeah. Opposite way for sundown, right?
Yeah, because the sun will go.
And this will all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches. What about that shadowy place?
Must never go there, Simba.
But I thought a king can do whatever he wants.
So, we are all connected in the great circle of life.
Sure.
Good morning, sire.
Good morning, Zazu.
Checking in?
Zazu, would you turn around?
Yes, sire. In Mufasa? Mufasa?
Oh, come on.
Simba?
I can see Simba disappearing. Mufasa.
Very good.
I'm gonna be king of Pride Rock. My dad just showed me the whole kingdom. And I'm gonna rule it all.
An elephant graveyard is no place for a young prince. Oops.
An elephant what? Whoa.
Oh dear, I've said too much. Well, I suppose you'd have found out sooner or later. You being so clever. Well, just do me one favor. Promise me you'll never visit that dreadful place.
No problem. Simba, I'm kinda in a beautiful path.
And it's time for yours.
Mom! A water hole. So where we really go? An elephant graveyard. Wow! Shh. Zazu. Right. So how we gonna ditch the dodo? This is it. We made it. Whoa. It's really creepy, yeah. Isn't it great? We could get in big trouble. I know.
The only checking out you will do will be to check out of here.
Meow.
Way beyond the boundary of the Pride Land.
Look, Banana Peach is scared.
Well, I wonder what we got here. I don't know, Shenzi. What do you think, Ed? Just what I was thinking. That used to be dinner. Yeah, we could have whatever's lying around.
Make mine a club sandwich. What you think?
ass kid.
Simba, I'm very disappointed in you. You could have been killed. You deliberately disobeyed me. And what's worse, you put Nala in danger.
I was just trying to be brave like you.
I'm only brave when I have to be. Simba, being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble.
But you're not scared of anything.
I was today. Yes. I thought I might lose you.
Guess even kings get scared, huh?
Ooh, it tingles me.
I'm surrounded by idiots. I don't think you really deserve this. I practically gift-wrapped those cups for you, and you couldn't even dispose of them. I know that your powers of resentment. And just between us, you might want to work on that little roar of yours.
Oh, okay.
Mufasa, quick! Stampede! Give it all! Simba's down there! Simba! Help me! Long live the king!
And there goes my childhood. The hell?
Somebody! Anybody! No. What am I gonna do?
Runaways. Run. Run away and never return.
How did they not know it was a lion?
right? Wrong. When the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
That's not what I was told.
And maybe you need a new lesson. Repeat after me. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries. Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata.
Ain't no passing craze.
Hakuna Matata. It means no worries.
How'd they get that far? Weird magic. I like Rafiki.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna eat me! Huh? Whoa! Jeez, why do I always have to save your
No.
They gonna do it.
How dare you say that to children?
We all know it to be true. So, end of world thinking.
Yeah, look, Rafiki. Again.
It's like he murdered it. He murdered my entire family. Ah, it's in the past.
Smart idea. Stop showing us your blue. What the hell? I guess it's a distraction.
That's not gonna work, Scar. I've put it behind me. Everyone's got your favorite subjects. Them.
Simba, what is he talking about?
So you haven't told them your little secret.
Well,
Simba, now's your chance to tell them. Tell them who is responsible for Mufasa's death.
I am.
It's not true. Tell me it's not true.
It's true.
Zeus.
Death to Scar. Jeez.
It was raining like that this morning.
Hmm?
It was raining like that this morning.
That was a quick turnaround.
Right? It's like magic.
The power of animators. They're just all back. back.
Simba 2.
The Lion King.
To the review. The Lion King. Wow, I didn't. I want to say that I didn't have too many notes. Like I was looking and I
got
was looking.
one.
There wasn't very many notes I had. I have a few from that I've had before, and then but I didn't have very many new notes. It's a really well wrapped story. There's no
Yeah.
there's no real plot holes other than some few obvious ones with how lions actually are in the real world.
Yeah, so I'm gonna compare it to Toy Story because we've seen them recently.
Yeah.
Toy Story's story is kind of a good mid tier all the way through, where this is more like an epic story that starts and keeps going. Just obviously, a lot of people know what story is based off.
There's a
but
beginning, middle, and end. Yeah, was Hamlet.
yeah, I believe it's
Yeah.
Hamlet.
But it has a beginning, middle, and end, like most stories have. But it feels like it starts off with your beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and you get it goes up, but it finishes on the high and not a low, right?
Yeah.
Simba's king. He's taken his rightful place and all that. It's so he was born a cub. He it's kind of like the mountain usually goes you have your beginning, and then you have your middle, and then you have your end. The way I see this movie is that you have your beginning where Simba and all that and his father are kind of looking at the Pride Lands and stuff, teaching him stuff. Then you have his death, and then you have everything in the middle with his building up Simba, growing up and learning what it is to be who he is. And then Simba finds out that people don't actually hate him and the Pride Lands are dying. And then he becomes king because he defeats Scar. It doesn't have a drop down. There's no end.
No,
It's
it just feels like a very big epic story,
Mhm.
to where a lot of the Pixar things, they kind of maintain the same level throughout the whole thing. Where
Yeah.
this just feels like an epic story going through, which is not a bad thing for Toy Story, but it works for this.
Now, not to say that this movie doesn't have some of its faults. Attention to detail with how actual prides work in real life with animals and stuff, with real lions.
Like,
There's a new movie, Mufasa, coming out. It's basically a prequel, and they're using the live action Lion King style to tell the story.
yeah,
But from what we've gotten from the plot of that is that Mufasa isn't actually originally from Pride Rock, which makes sense because that's how most prides, or actually all prides in the real wild, actually work. Once a male is born at a certain age, they're kicked out of the herd or whatever, the pride. They're kicked out of the pride, and they go find a new pride and make a new family with them. Because herein lies the problem of with Lion King movie here. In this first one, it's just like a community of lions that just like any human society is that you don't go find a new right, and you just have your village and you breed within the village and stuff and whatever.
and also with lions, the fact that Simba is an only child, where felines normally have
Litters.
so there's multiple.
And the way the prides work, I believe, in real life, is that the king has multiple litters with multiple of the
So
women
technically,
in the pride.
technically Nala should be Simba's sister,
Yeah,
half sister, but still.
yeah. So
But,
a little bit of a problem there, but again,
Make it more
it's
family,
it's
I
a
guess.
kid's story and whatever, and it's kind of like the way they're pitching it is that there's a bunch of male lions, and Nala is completely separated and whatever, but that's not how prides work for the most part from what I've done research on.
Yeah.
What I want to say is there's a very lack of males in Lion King. The only males for lions are Simba, Mufasa, and Scar. There's only 3. Like, you see a whole bunch of the females at the end and at the beginning and whatever, Nala's mother and Simba's mother. But there's no other males because they'll have that same mane, right? But in this movie, it's like the mane. If you have the mane, you're king, right? Where other than Scar, but Scar's mane is black, and he's the villain. He's seen to be as the villain, right?
Yeah.
But if we're to believe that like Simba and Nala are not half relatives, I would still make it. I was thinking like maybe Scar could be the mother, but that would still make them half relatives.
Scar would be the mother?
Sorry, the father of Nala.
Yeah.
Which would still make them half siblings or quarter sibling because uncle, cousins. They'd be cousins.
And spoiler, but Scar in the second one actually did have kids.
Yeah.
Just they kind of wedged them in. Not really existed in this one.
It's kind of. That's the only major plot point, but that's just.
I like the details. Like when you watch Scar, just to show how much he's a bad guy, he always has his claws out. Which any other line,
I never noticed.
With every other line, he does.
They're retracted, except for when they're attacking.
Yeah, his is always out. I think even on the cover. Yeah, on the
cover,
cover, they're always out.
Yeah,
which just points to the fact that he's always that kind of. Look it up if you can't see it.
Yeah. Well,
but
yeah.
There's always out.
So it pictures him as a villain. Real hyena laughs. They sound very similar, but they're a lot scarier and weirder. They're more cackles than laughs.
I wonder why they didn't try doing it more like that to make it more creepy.
I think this is pretty creepy, but I think a real hyena laugh would pull it out, just because it's a laugh, but it's more of a. It's not like you could see it as not a laugh.
Yeah.
The one thing I see about this, in old Disney and Pixar stuff, is the comedy punchlines hit differently now back then to now. It just when Timon and Pumbaa are on screen and they're making witty remarks and stuff, I don't feel that same charm nowadays. There's not as many witty remarks that make fun of people. Where they like just like can't make fun of people anymore.
Yeah,
like there's no comedy. Comedy is all about it's all about making fun of other people, but in a mutual understanding way of telling the truth, right? If something's true, then it is what it is, and if it's funny, then it is. And
Pumbaa seems to be a genius for knowing what stars are.
Yeah, made out of gas. Like he just thought of that. One of the other things that really made me think about is like Mufasa. He's dead in the ravine there, right? It's not like they buried him, so his bones are still just lying there in the ravine.
Yeah, it's probably not. Yeah.
Simba probably never ever goes back to that ravine ever again. Otherwise, he'll see his father's bones.
The only problem with that whole scene is, isn't he under the tree that broke when Simba?
It broke off, yeah.
But shouldn't that be like way back? Cause they kept.
Oh no, I think it might be a different one. It's got to be a different one.
Because even the whole design, even the end matches the tree that he was on.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because they should be far away.
They ran down a bit further. Simba was running for quite some time before he.
Yeah, it shouldn't be anywhere near that tree.
I think that's just them trying to be symbolic and stuff. Either way, it could be another tree because that one was like straight up dead. So either way,
it was actually broken right where it was broken where the tree that Simba was on was also broken.
Oh.
Which is why it's really weird if it is.
I think they're trying to do symbolism.
Disney parks.
Yeah. And then a lot of heartfelt moments.
Very much, yeah.
Really, that's it. There's not much to say about this other than, as the VHS here says, it's part of the Masterpiece Collection.
Yeah, the only thing I wrote down was when he went to the Elephant Graveyard,
Yeah.
the scaling seemed off to me because the first thing you see, almost like a mammoth skull, because we see elephants next to him earlier.
Yeah, it was a mammoth tux. They
Because
look
it
like
was
mammoths.
so huge.
Yeah.
Like, that head would almost take up half the living room and stuff like that. It just,
It was a massive skull. I think that's just animation creativities.
just to make
Just
it
to
more
make it
dark
look
and-
bigger and scarier. But tusks were also massive comparatively. Elephant tusks don't get that big generally. Other than that, there's not much to say about this movie. To pick and pull at it, it's just a good overall story. I mean,
Yeah.
it picks from Hamlet and all that and whatever. But
The music was great, had great characters.
I'm just gonna check something.
Still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Got a PTSD, aren't you?
Well, it's done it once today. Alright.
Sure. But yeah, it has great music, great characters. I actually personally miss this type of animation.
Yeah, hand-drawn animation really had a place. It definitely tells the story very differently compared to full CG. I think the last movie that was hand-drawn, I don't know what it was, but I know the first movie that was full CG from Disney was Frozen. That was their first. That was the first movie that they did after hand-drawn animation was gone. Like they weren't going to do hand-drawn animation anymore after Frozen. So I don't know whatever movie came before Frozen, but whatever movie it was, is that was the last hand-drawn animated movie.
Yeah, some of the things I found out doing this is there was actually a different title at the very beginning when they started doing this.
Yeah.
When they first started working on The Lion King, the movie was actually called King of the Jungle.
King of the Jungle. I think The Lion King.
Yeah, The
Is it definitely better
Lion
title?
King's original script features Scar as a lone lion, unrelated to Simba, who is in charge of a pack of vicious baboons. In this version, Rafiki was written as a cheetah, and Timon and Pumbaa were both friends with Simba from the start.
Oh, I think the idea of making Scar not related is better, because then he could be the father of some of the other cubs, and then you avoid a lot of the incestual takings from this one, just because the fact that they're brothers and there's no other male lions around.
I'm also glad that they switched the baboons to hyenas.
Oh, so the baboons were the bad guys.
Well, yeah, it said that, he was in charge of a pack of vicious baboons.
Oh, okay. So, but
So
then
they
they
switched
made
it to
Rafiki
a
a
baboon.
baboon and made him a good guy, and then turned it to the hyenas.
Yeah, well, baboon was originally going to be a cheetah.
Right, it was gonna be cheetah. So.
Which I'm glad they turned to baboon because it makes him more of a, gives him a good feel of like a kooky, wise.
Whereas a cheetah would be more mysterious.
Yeah, they'd probably do
sneaky.
more mysterious, sneaky type
Yeah.
than the kooky version, which I like the kooky version better because he's my favorite.
Yeah, he definitely plays well. I don't think this after chat is going to be as long as the other ones, but because really, like I said, it's a great movie. There's not much to pick apart at it other than what we said.
No, and again, not to say that any movies we do pick apart is bad. It's just there's not any really plot holes that we can see per se, except for the ones that we've mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's a good movie. It's got good
Animation's
animation.
great. The story is great. I mean, it picks from Hamlet, but it's adapted. I mean, most stories nowadays, if not all, are picked from something else. Nobody has creative individuality anymore. But it's different enough that you go, this is a good story that is separate from Hamlet.
Yeah, and you have great voice characters. The person who voiced Scar was great. James Earl Jones and Mufasa was great.
Yeah.
Got a booming voice.
Mm-hmm.
You got Whoopi Goldberg as
One of the hyenas, yeah. Just...
Was it Matthew Broderick Simba? Or that's his name?
I don't remember.
The guy who played Inspector Gadget in the first one. I think his name is Matthew
Yes,
Broderick.
yeah, Matthew.
He's Simba.
It's Matthew, yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, yes, that is correct. I do know that. But yeah, no, like, it's fantastic cast, perfect score. Hans Zimmer, I believe. Tim Rice and lyricist is Tim Rice. Score is Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a good, just big story that you just watch all the way through and really enjoyed it. The music was great. Again, we barely wrote anything down.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not seeing any like really bad like things on it.
Yep.
Like again, with I think with the animated, hand-drawn animation stuff, we're gonna find a lot less things wrong with it, because they put in a little bit more detail and time. Whereas like the CG, cause it takes such a long time in the early days to do, we saw a lot of the weird duplication.
Oh, and Toy
like
Story 1.
yeah, and Toy Story 1, like with the multiple Andys.
Plus, with movies like that, there's more things to find plot holes with. With this, it's a very basic but very grand story.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many much things you can find plot holes with, except for what we said. But even then, you give them some give and take because of you can't really do everything you want.
But that being said, if you've seen anything that that you see that we've missed, that's like, oh, we like, here's a point of the story that we like, there's something wrong with that, or some information that you have that we don't know, please put it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you about what your thoughts are on this film, any other plot holes that you notice, or if you think this is also a masterpiece, because there's not much wrong with it. It's just great animation, great story. Any final thoughts?
No,
That's pretty much it. Like we said, there's not much to say for this film other than that it's really good. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to watch the full length, it will be available on the Patreon. A lot of that stuff will be down in the drop down below, or on our other social medias. You can click the links to bring you to our Patreon. Anyways, other than that, we will see you in the next movie. What that will be, again, we're unsure because we're recording a whole bunch in batch, and how we release them can change. Have a good rest of your day, whenever it is and however it is, and we will see you next time. Peace.